This is Dr. John DeMartini. This is one of the most amazing and inspiring shows that you can listen into. If you want to be on the edge of your seats, if you want to open up your heart, if you want to expand your mind, and you want to meet incredible people, stay tuned because you're just about to experience a transformative radio show that will change your life. And you're listening to the Dr. Pat Show that's coming up right next.
Welcome to the Dr. Pat Show. Talk radio to thrive by. Powerful, inspiring, and coming to you live, bringing you stories of people like you and me, busting through and living life full out. Get ready to dare to wonder what your life would be like if you knew you could not fail.
Yes, indeed. Love that song. Thank you, Nick Johnson and the Nick Johnson Band for saving our butts when Coldplay decided we could not use clocks for our show anymore. Nick created that music, that song, those vocals from his band, and here we are today. Awakening, awakening, and awakening. I have a very special guest. I don't even want to call her a guest because she is a celebrity in the world of human potential. She is somebody that is out there, and you are going to hear a lot from her this year. We told you that last year. We said, just give us a bit of time. Like, just do that 25. And okay, so here we are. Okay, Nicole Pelham. I have known Nicole for a while. And so if you live in the Pacific Northwest, you know Nicole. If you live in the Pacific Northwest and you're part of women's sports, you know Nicole. If you live in the Pacific Northwest and you want to find out how to stay on the edge of things, how to keep things moving, how to become an activist with spiritual underpinnings, if you want to do that, you know Nicole Pelham. And if you have watched her awaken, emerge, and conquer, yes, I did say that, then you know her show Love and Lightning. Today, we are going to get you caught up with Love and Lightning, what it is, Nicole Pelham, what she's been doing, what's on her plate. And if I had to rename this show, this would be a show called Resilience. Never count me out. Nicole, Yahoo to you.
Oh my gosh, the introduction was too much. Too much. Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here with you. I'm so excited to do this interview with you. Talk about Love and Lightning, talk about the state of this beautiful world that we're in right now.
Mm-hmm.
And, just chitty chat today will be wonderful.
Now, here's what I want to say. This is why I'm a little, this is a very special year for us in a lot of ways. And this month is an anniversary month because, April 1st of 2003, right? The show, the Dr. Pat Show, was not that. And that's why I love about talking about this today with you. It was crust busting. And it is a brand that I have gotten more requests to bring back. And guess what? We're bringing it back. Because it makes you smile, right? Look at you, right? But something about last year was not about that. And I want to just have you talk about Love and Lightning season 1 and last year before we jump ahead, because we are going to talk about awakenings. We are going to talk about change. But there was an energy last year, in my opinion, that did not make the pathway easy for us. It was not going down a water slide, folks.
No, it was not. And it felt like it was that from like 2024 too. It was just like that whole year was a slug. I was talking to everybody and they were just like, it's over. It's over, Nikki. And I was like, no, like, what do you, like, the votes in November, like, would talk to everybody, just be like, and they're like, it's over. The world's done. We've lost. Liberalism is finished. And I was like, guys, that's literally what the last gasp of evil wants. It wants you to be like, oh, we've worked and worked and worked and we still are losing. That's what they want. That's what Love and Lightning was about. I was like, no, to show you guys, actually, it's the exact opposite. This is the last gasp of evil as it sees renewables flash across the world and it loses control of country after country that no longer needs these oil and needs these things that they've made other countries depend on. They are losing control and they're like, oh, we've got to grasp control. Yesterday I heard some really crazy stuff about how they're planning to grasp control about this whole like cult that's involved in this war that's like, oh, we're not even worried about Jesus. we actually are going to bring about the 1,000-year reign ourselves. And then that's when Jesus will come. And I was like, oh no. Oh,
Uh,
absolutely not. We are not having you guys run the world for 1,000 years. We're
yeah,
not doing that. So that's kind of what
yeah,
Love and Lightning was about, was because I felt that too in 2024, that
yeah,
everybody was so sad. Especially when I talked to the younger generation who are like 30s and 20s, they just were like, no, like it's over. And I'm like, I'm not even gonna like try anymore. And I was like, and that's what they want you to do. They want you to sit at home. And we saw that with the files, drink that alcohol, sit at home, watch TV. That's what they
yeah,
want you to do. Go to work every day, be depressed about it, sit at home. And I was like, no, we've just got to wake up as many people, whether it's one person or a
yeah.
1,000 people. I've got to just wake up as many people as I can and go, oh no, I need you guys to like blink a little bit, wipe those crusts out of your eyes, and be like, oh my God, do you
I
see how
know.
pretty this green is on the trees? Yes, start there. And then
Yeah.
everything else just starts being so magical. And so that's what Love and Lightning was about, was just to kind of just try to reawaken people to the idea that this is a magical experience, from beginning to end, and it is going to end. Whether it ends just for you or it ends for all of
Well,
humanity,
okay, let
there
me
is
throw
an
something
end.
at you though. Let me throw some at you right now. See, I think 2025, it ended. I'm gonna tell you why. That year of the snake,
Oh, the
my
shedding of the
table
skin.
tennis friends were telling me, Pat, come on now. They don't talk like that, but they were like, listen, you're going to shed some things, you're going to lose some things, you're going to change big time. Hello. That happened to me and more. Financial predators attacked. I mean, honestly, still battling it, but the worst is over. Moved from the Pacific Northwest to New Jersey. People are like, we're going to come visit you and you need a mental check. And I'm like, no, different energy in the Northeast. I grew up here. Hello, all of that. But we had that tail end of last year. Can we talk about the tail end? Like the last quarter of 2025, bopping into the first quarter. What was that like for Love and Lightning, Nicole Pelham?
For me, it was we're kind of in a waiting period with a bunch of stuff in my life. So that's what it kind of feels like. It's just kind
Exactly.
of like I'm kind of in a holding pattern. I was just talking to my like guru, my like business guru about this, and I was like, it just feels like we're in a holding pattern, and it's been a holding pattern for almost a decade, if not 2 years. But that dam is bursting. It's like right at the
Yeah.
spot where you can feel
Yeah.
all the energy has built up, and it's about to blow over. Like I said, one of our businesses, me and you have been talking about it.
Yeah.
One of
Yeah.
my businesses is about to open. We're about 1 month from opening phase one, and
Yeehaw!
2 months from opening phase two. And that's not been just a 2 year project, that's been a 10-year project.
Oh
And
my
so all of that
gosh.
energy has been building and building and building and building behind all the other things that I was doing. That was what I was talking about my business
But you
group
know, that
about.
makes total sense to me. Let's stop for a minute and think about it. Let's do a snapshot in time. Snapshot in time. Snapshot in time.
Yep.
10 years ago was the end of the ninth year, going into the 1 year. We got rid of 9 years. This is a 1 year. So you have come full circle. But you
Brought it
and
all the way
I,
around.
when somebody said to us, it may take 9 years, we're like, no, right?
I
We're like, what?
it won't possibly take that long. And then we're like,
I
did
got
did 10
9 minutes.
years pass?
9 minutes. That's what I got.
Yeah, that's kind of how it felt too. And I was like talking about all the stuff I did because I had the women's tackle
Yeah.
football team,
Yes, you
um,
did.
finished up AkiCon. There was lots of stuff I
Oh,
did in that time. I went on lots of trips. I just swam with whale sharks, just in February. So it's not like I didn't do anything, but all those things they were like in the holding pattern because this other thing
yes.
hadn't quite. And I was like, doesn't matter. Keep doing life because that's how you get stuck, is just waiting for the thing to do, and then you don't do anything because I'll do
Mm.
it when that's finished. And I tell people all the time, that's not the journey.
But
That's
isn't
that's
that the
actually the
dance of
opposite.
love and lightning? See, that's
Hmm.
like the coolest dance, right? Because I think about love, but I want to ask you to talk about it for a minute. Because you had to be love and lightning for the past 10 years and now, right? And
Hmm.
I call it a dance, but I'm not sure that's correct. How would you describe the dynamic nature of love and lightning?
I would think it was a dance. I actually just watched this really cool like video of these two cloths that got caught in this windstorm and they were dancing around each other up into the sky and it was
Whoa.
just so beautiful. They were just like just like cloths from like some bedding or something that got caught in this little storm. And just how pretty that was as it span around and how, they both were doing different things, but they're both were playing off each other. And no, I do think it's a balance, it's an understanding.
Mm,
It's both reciprocal and shocking. It's like there's things that are going and then boom, but
mm,
really that was building in the atmosphere the whole time before it ever came down as lightning. So there's all this build up and all this energy and then strikes happen. Oh, this gets open. Oh, this gets sold. Oh, this happens. Oh, you make this deal. But those are the moments you remember, like marriage, the actual marriage, but that was building as a whole, relationship before that actually came down and happened. And so it is definitely a dance. It's a dance of energies coming together and then realizing sometimes you need to rest. Right now I actually am in a phase of my life where I'm having to rest a bit more, and just reminding myself that that's okay. That was my complaint to parents about teenagers and my children are an ass episode. We talked about teenagers a little bit and I was like, they're not moody because of the hormones, they're moody because they're sleepy. It's not anything else. Just let them sleep more. Encourage them to nap more. Tell them, hey, yeah, go ahead and go to sleep because they do have a weird sleep pattern. And I am in the middle of that change, or starting it. And I was like, oh, this is, the important thing is to take your naps and to get your
mm.
rest. So when you are up and awake, you're not mad at everybody because because you're sleepy. So just that dance and balance of understanding that you're going to go through those phases daily, yearly, and throughout your
Yeah.
life. There are ups and downs of flows, and it's not like some people think like I've even heard of like the moment you're born, you're dying, and it's actually not. You have these big spirals up and these downs, and these big spirals up and these downs until you get to the end. But the
Mm.
whole time it's kind of spiraling up and not crashing down to the earth.
Your background represents that to me. And I want to be very clear to people that is not a cloth that Nicole's got up, like hanging in her background. Just want to say to y'all, okay, like you brought a beautiful woman with you. How cool is that? And, I moved, so I miss all the evergreens, right? Trees, though, are starting to pop, flowers are starting to pop, right? There's a lot here. But I want to ask you, Love and Lightning was the TV show you brought to life. So while things were ending, you gave birth. You had an awakening with that.
Hmm.
Can you talk about that and what your why was for season one and how it's different for you to
I
move
talk about
forward?
the helping other people and the fact that I wanted to like bring love and light into the world, but it also was a
Mhm.
part of a throat promise to myself, to my throat chakra, that I was going to free myself, that I was going to be more open. Being raised in my cult, which I talk about, kept me very closed off. Women kept in their place very much in that cult. And then just being the cultures I was raised in, I was raised, children, don't talk, they're quiet. And so just breaking free from that actually took me quite a
Mhm.
bit because I didn't leave the cult until I was 30. And then from there, I was kind of like going out in the world. And I just now I'm getting to the point where I'm like, no, this is absolutely who I want to be, and then making sure to
Mhm.
fulfill all those promises to myself. So Love and Lightning was also a promise to myself to free out my throat chakra, to not be concerned with what anybody's worried about, whether my family likes what I say or whether my friends like what I say. I'm just not concerned with that. And that was what this was to be like, no, I want you to talk about the things you want to talk about without being concerned that, oh, it's going to backlash your business or someone's going to hear that and be like, oh, she doesn't like children. No, I love children. And anyone who actually listened to the episode was like, she really loves children. So like, I just was like, no, you need to really free yourself and not be as concerned as you were raised to be a very perfect child, a very perfect teenager, a very perfect adult, and to be like, no, what is perfect? Because some people can't stand the Nikki who was perfect. They hated her. They just could like she was happy and always there for them, and they couldn't stand that. So you know why? That's not who you need to be. Just be the be that's you, and the person that is me is happy. Like I really do. I really do probably annoy people with my happiness, and glass is not
Oh,
half full, it's
no.
refillable, and the clouds aren't silver lining, they are glowing with energy, it's just so much more than that to me. So I know that probably drives some people crazy, but that is more authentically me being that polarizing happiness than being like, oh, trying to be whichever person they wanted me to be, but calming it down when people were too much, and then being up when I thought I could get away with it. Instead, just being like, no, this is me, and I always am looking for the silver linings.
Yeah.
I think the entire journey is why we're here, and not whether or not we ever make it to the spot. It's the whole
Yeah.
time of the journey.
I got to tell you, because you and I are not going to change, right? I mean, our optimistic nature. I mean, my nickname, I have two nicknames in two different circles. One is Ping Pong Patty. The other one is Pollyanna Patty. And I often laugh when people do that. And then when they see me frustrated or a little angry or whatever that is, they're like, did you stop taking your meds? And I'm like, I'm not on meds. What are you
Just
talking
enjoying
about?
life, guys. I don't Do you see the sunlight dapple through the trees? Okay, that's more than enough to make me happy. I can't. I'm
I
sorry if
know.
that's not for other people.
Well, let's talk about this evolution. We came up with a word last year, Revel, Revel. That's the name of our empowerment channel. And we come up with things all the time. But I want you to talk to this thing. See, every year, Nicole, I come up with a theme for the year. And it's usually like, let's be alive and thrive, or 2025, the year of jive, or something like that. No, this year, when they saw, first of all, it didn't rhyme. But if you go to our site, it didn't. So if you go to our site, it says 2026 for us is to become unmissable, unforgettable, and unapologetically visible. Do you
That's what this
resonate with
year's
that?
about. Oh yeah, that's what I keep telling people is just to be. I mean, to be themselves, which is what honestly I
Yeah.
don't. And this is where I get kind of irritated because everybody's like, "Oh, no one will tell you this." Everyone is saying this. There are movies that say this. There are books that say this. There are songs that say this, and the whole universe is like, "Hey, you know what'll be great if you just forget what everybody else is doing and you just be yourself." And everybody's like, "Oh, no one's trying to wake me up," and everybody, no, no, literally, the whole world is like, "Please
Yeah.
wake up." But you would just be so happy if you just were yourself. You would just be so happy if you followed your dreams. But no, I've got to have this job and this work and this family. And I'm like, ooh, but none of it's leading to happiness, right? And that unhappiness is a ripple effect around you. So
Yeah.
let's bring that back in.
Okay, but I think you're the spokesperson for this, and I really need to get your opinion on this because you've been through it. I want to really address this idea that we're talking about chaos in the world as if we can't have any wins from it. WIN. And
It, the
honestly,
whole,
you got to
we're made
educate me
from
on
it.
that.
We're okay, so this is I just heard this on NPR. They were just talking about they had this radio lab and they were talking about how humans were made here on Earth. And as they went through the different theories, because we still don't really know, they just got more and more depressed instead of more and more wondered. Like that we could have been seeded by an asteroid. Amazing. That we could have been formed by rocks in the deep ocean that like solidified into bubbles that actually made a little creature and that creature multiplied. Amazing that we were a primordial soup that was struck by a sudden bolt of lightning. Amazing. But instead, the host just got more and more sad. Oh, I'm a weenie bird. We weenie birds, we would be lucky to survive. And it was just like, I was like, what is happening here? You guys are literally, and they're talking to, millions of people who are listening to them and thinking, oh, yeah, I guess that is just dumb. And I'm like, no, okay, I I can't. I gotta get my voice out there more. I gotta find more people who have their voices and amplify because that
Yeah.
is the exact opposite of the amazing nature of life that we've been searching and then we found little chunks of life piece places. We haven't found life yet, right? So like
Mhm.
I don't I don't know how you're not amazed by the fact that it sprang up in any way, shape, or form to be what it is right now. And then, the hopelessness about whether or not it can survive when it shows us over and over again if we just leave it alone for just a little bit, it's so capable of fixing
Yeah.
itself. So, just all those things like, guys, I just need people to be more helpful and I need more to find more people who are doing that helpfulness. I
Yeah.
talk a
But you
little
and
bit
I
about
could do
that.
that. Okay,
Yeah.
look at you and I can do that. Let's talk perspective. Okay, so I had a conversation with my friend whose family is from Iran. Refugees from Iran, the whole family, they get the Iran. And I was talking to her the other day and I said, Doc, I'm a little bit torn. And she's a very good listener, saved my life. She said, I have a different perspective on Iran. Now, this is a woman, okay? Iran, born, family, persecuted, left. This is that woman, right?
Hmm.
So I'm expecting her to say, oh my God, it's so hard. She says, I have a different perspective. And I said, what is it? Something had to be done.
Oh
We
yeah.
here prayed that something had to be done. And I said, what did you see? And I said, aren't you sad about the children? And you know what she said to me? She said, let me tell you the reality of what happens to young girls in Iran. First of all, they're not allowed to have the education. And second of all, they gouge their eyes out. And
Mm.
if you don't think something had to be done, whether it was by this president or another president, all of us here prayed to the God of our understanding to help make change. Now, I heard that. I'm still taking that in though. I heard that and I thought, wow, I didn't have that perspective. How important is perspective
Hmm.
for you and how we move into this year and the next phase of Love and Lightning?
Oh, well, one understanding and listening to other people, I think, is probably the biggest thing because that
Okay.
actually has been kind of what I've been saying. I've been careful about it
Mm,
with the war because I don't, there are people who are dying. There are people who died when
yeah.
they took away the ADA, the US DA support around. They said that was going to kill, hundreds of thousands of people every year, because we were supplying medication and stuff like that. And that's America's penance for our wars. That's how we're like paying back our wars is by having those systems. And so, things like that. But this whole presidency, there's an episode on King of the Hill. And I don't know if you've ever seen King of the Hill. Bobby has decided, I don't forget why, but he's decided to be a bad boy. Bobby's gonna be a bad boy. And so he's doing horrible stuff to people. He's like, just dumb pranks, but like he takes the salt, unscrews it so when Connie goes to pour her salt on her it just covers it her food in salt. She goes, oh no. And the girl goes, oh my God, Connie, you know what? We have pizza. Do you want extra pizza? Oh my God, I love pizza. And every time he tried to do something bad, the
Hmm.
exact opposite thing would happen. Whoever he tried to do a prank on or do the universe would just grant them. And that's the way I feel about this presidency. Yes, it feels scary. Yes, it's a lot of rhetoric. And yes, they have a lot of power at their control. But to me, it looks like Bobby Hill. He just keeps doing stuff. And as he does the worst thing, everybody goes, oh, well, that's unacceptable. So there were so many elections right after he won and he had like 4 or 5 months in presidency, and the whole world watched it and went. And then the summer afterwards, almost all those elections went to liberal presidencies, and I was like, yeah, because they went, oh, if that's what the other choice is, we'll just stick with the liberalism. And so there is a bright side to me that I keep seeing as you shine, as darkness becomes so dark. There's always a flip side. There's also a Rick and Morty episode that's kind of like that, where they are there's these dinosaurs and they find out that dinosaurs are altruistic. They like ride skateboards and they like go around and like they like seed planets. They're like the planet seeders. But because they're so altruistic, the universe had to balance itself out. And there's an evil, mean race of asteroids that seeks out life and blows it out whenever it can find it because the universe had to balance itself out. And so that is something I think with this last year that I really grappled with is just the understanding of destruction and how that is a balance. But my biggest thing is how that destruction is taken out. Yes, we have to cut down trees, but are we caring for the creatures that are in the trees before we cut them down?
Hmm.
Or are we just chopping down whatever we need for humans? Yes, we need to have energy, but are we doing the energy in the way that's best for the planet? Or are we doing the energy, oh, whatever's fastest, And that's what humans are doing. Whatever's fastest instead of stopping and caring about all the things. Because destruction is part of it. You do have to burn things to make heat. Humans need heat, animals need heat. So like understanding that, but how we're doing that right now is just so destructive when we could be taking a few extra seconds to be kind. This one lady I was watching, she was doing her fireplace and she pulls out her log and she takes care of little spiders. And she said, "See all these little things? These are all little spiders that are on this piece of wood." And so she took a little thing and she caught each little spider off of it and she put them outside before she burned her wood.
Exactly.
Yeah, it took 5 minutes. But
I'm
she
right there.
saved
I don't kill
4 or 5 lives. Like, and just the human aspect of understanding that we have to weed. But do we have to weed and be like, "You stupid weeds," or be like, "Hey, weeds, this is not the place for weeds in this garden, so I'm gonna have to pull all you dandelions out. But over there in the field, you dandelions can grow." Just the understanding of being kinder towards everything is kind of where I am. I've been talking to people about being a kinder, not human, but being a kinder being. Because as we have gone out in the world, we found out that whales are altruistic. Monkeys are altruistic. There's lots of dogs love and save other creatures. Cats do. There's tons of animals. So it's not about being a good human, that we need to get beyond the fact that, oh, we're humans. We need to get to being a good being here on the earth.
Yeah, that's a great. Now we're at a great place to take a short break. And when we come back, it's going to be all about where is Nicole going? Where is Love and Lightning going? What are the projects that Nicole has been working on? And I know you all miss her, but you're going to get an update on all of that. We're going to take a very short break, everybody. We'll be right back with Nicole Pelham, Love and Lightning, and so much more. Stay tuned.
Hi, this is Mark Anthony. I'm the psychic lawyer, also known as the Psychic Explorer, and I'm proud to be teaming up with Dr. Pat Baccili for our show, The Psychic and the Doc, your practical paranormal power unleashed. And on this show, all subjects are on the table and no topic is taboo. Tune in, and better yet, call in Thursdays at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific on TransformationTalkRadio.com.
Tune into Transformation Talk Radio for Afterlife Teacher, soul lessons bringing you full circle. Bryn Blankenship will help you to begin to explore the deeper part of yourself in connection to your soul and your spiritual team. She will discuss the spiritual realm from the perspective of past lives and afterlife regression and the soul lessons gained by clients during their spiritual regression sessions spanning the past 20 years. For more information, visit brynblankenship.com.
Inside the Mind of Hiring with me, Dr. Mickey Feinberg, is a must-listen for hiring managers, HR pros, and job seekers. Tune in to Transformation Talk Radio, the first and third Tuesday at 11 to discover the psychology of making smarter hiring decisions that shape successful teams and organizations. Dr. Mickey and expert guests will disclose the full hiring journey. For more info, visit deltaconsultants.com.
We remember a time when you could simply form a thought and it would manifest. The harmony was forgotten, but it is returning now. The Power of Inspiration and Awakening Radio with Julia will take you on adventures through the heart and spirit, exploring who we once were and how to awaken that power today. Julia studied under the guidance of wolves, learning from their wisdom to master a higher frequency for new state of mind. Learn to master the secrets of manifestation. Visit OneTrueSelf.com.
Hey everybody, welcome back. Great to have you here. I'm Dr. Pat. My very special guest today is Nicole Pelham. We're talking about Love and Lightning. You're going to get a flash of where we are today, where Nicole is going. Before we do that, what is the best way for people to find out more about you and more about Love and Lightning?
You can look me up. I'm on pretty much all the social medias. My two biggest handles are Love and Lightning, and then Bad Vegan Nikki is my other handle you'll find me under.
Mm.
And then of course I have my businesses, Seattle Spartans, that is still active. Someone just called me about that just the other day. We're doing more international stuff. Trying to decide if
I
I'm going
called you about
to.
it.
Yeah, well, it's you. Yes, it was someone called last night too, and they were like, "I want to buy tickets," and I was like, "Oh, we are not doing anything local right now, so we're
Mm.
really doing more international stuff. We've got some people, but invites to go to Mexico. We're not going to do it this year. I'm honestly taking the women out of the state this year is so it's nerve-wracking to me to be responsible for even adults taking them out of the city right now. So I'm not really doing anything like that. We didn't do anything last year too. So you can look us up, Seattle Spartans. We are doing lots of events here though. So we do like girls camps and stuff like that. And then we're about to launch my second daycare center, which, if you have children under the age of 5, that will be a daycare center open in Auburn. It's our second one. We're actually right at next year will be 30 years. So I've been doing childcare since 1995.
Wow.
So I'm past 30 years of childcare. And then we opened this business officially in 1997. So next year will be our 30th anniversary. So that's going to be
Congratulations.
super fun.
So tell people how they can find more about the day center, please, the daycare center, because I want to make sure they have that website too, or a way to connect with you in that way.
Yeah. So Kids Corner Child Care Center. So we have one in Bothell, and this is our second one to be open in Auburn, probably July, I'm going to guess. It's construction.
Oh,
I'm like,
please.
oh my goodness, this is awful. But just being like Stacey Abrams that talked about what things aren't in your lane. She was like, oh, how are they gonna put the tower up and the rocks? And she goes, I don't know. I'm not an engineer. That's what I paid you for. And so when things are outside of my lane, I just remind myself, that's the contractor's job. That's why you paid him money. So he needs to figure out how to fix it, not you. Like, it's not your job. So that's made the project a lot easier, but it has been a long project. So that was going to be open in Auburn. I did a lot of, I'm going to take a little bit of time to brag, actually. I did for this project, I had to go visit daycares. And so I visited some daycares a couple years ago, but not a lot. And then last year I visited a lot of daycares. The state of daycares in Washington are not good. There are areas where they're wonderful. Over in Bothell, the daycares are pretty much wonderful.
Yeah.
Over in Auburn, there are daycares with no toys. There are daycares with they're dirty. I went, why are these daycares allowed? We would never be allowed to be like this. So I'm just excited to open a daycare in the area. That usually helps. It's kind of like opening,
Yeah.
fixing up a house in the neighborhood block. Everybody goes, oh, is that what it's supposed to be? Because we give free diapers and wipes. I think we're the only daycare center in Washington State that does that. That's just crazy that parents are getting calls and daycares are spending
I
an
know.
hour. Hey, only have 2 diapers today and you need 4. Can you bring, or you kind of have, we did that for literally, I think 2 years. We opened our daycare and we went, oh, how much do diapers cost? So we have free diapers and wipes in our daycare. And then we have a full plant-based menu. We still have milk, but we do a full plant-based menu. We have a full cook. I recently found out that one of our very high level competition gives chicken nuggets to lunch.
What?
And how you have parents are paying $3,000 to $5,000 a month for this daycare, and they
Yeah.
serve chicken nuggets for lunch. And then some of the other schools don't even have lunches. And I was like,
What?
but so the parents have to make a lunch. That's so much, like literally
Wow.
you drop off your child and you should have nothing to worry about until you pick up
That's
your
right.
child. And that's how we do our daycare. So I'm actually hoping to open up maybe 2 more. I want to do 3 because once you have 2, you might as well have 3. And then
I agree with that.
Yeah.
3 has
once you
gotta
have
be the
2,
number.
3. Yeah. And then I may do more depending on after that how it goes. But I just was kind of surprised at the level of daycares outside of my area. I was like, oh, I thought all the daycares in Washington were like this level, and they're not. And so I was like, oh, we just have to pop some daycares in a couple areas and, help parents see that, no, your daycare should be taking care of your child completely while you're at work. You shouldn't have to get daycare calls. You shouldn't have to prepare food for them. And just, that's what I'm talking about too with the community care, right? Is that a lot of these are corporations and they're trying to squeeze every last dollar out of the parents instead of taking care of the community. Whereas I teach my teachers, these kids are literally going to be driving cars next to you. They're going to be working at the store that you go to. They're going to be the people calling you on the phone for appointments. Like, these are part of our community. So we want these kids to be able to be good humans. And so that's what we're, one of our catch lines is we're raising humankind, so we're trying really hard to like get that and make that understanding so that the teachers understand too, that this isn't just about like being there every day, which we don't have teachers like that anyway, but that really not just the training of them in this time, but this is the training that gets them to be good human beings when they're in their 20s and 30s, and you have to deal with them out in the world away from their parents. And so that I think really helps too, to make them really like pause and go, oh, nope, that behavior is not cute. We actually want that to stop. So I tell that with parents too, that, yeah, it's cute at 2, but is it cute at 10? How about 20? Will it be really cute? And he's yelling
Not
at you
even
at 20?
cute at 3, I'm telling you.
I don't think it's cute at 3 because I see the adult. I literally see him going, Mom, I said, give me money. And I literally, I've met adults like that. So I'm like, oh no, don't hit your mommy in front of me at daycare. If your mommy lets you hit you at home, but at daycare, we don't hit our parents.
Oh my goodness. And
it's
you're
allowed.
right about that though. And I'm so glad to hear you say that. See, this is the love and lightning of Nicole Pelham. Right? It's both love and lightning. And you see, and I think there's a part of what's the word I want to say? For lack of a better word, the alternative approach that popped up 20, 30 years ago, forgot the lightning part. Right? And what you're talking about is, look, you can take action in the world and you could come from that place of inner love. It doesn't mean you're not going to have conflict. But then there's another thing about lightning that I want to ask you about, because you're really not done with love and lightning. There's a part 2. There may be some other projects going on. Tell me a little bit about what's in the mind and the heart of Nicole Pelham there.
So for Love and Lightning, I definitely want to do a start with season 2. We are, like I said, right in the middle of the project. We thought we would be open with our business by now, and now it looks like the construction won't be done till end of May, mid-June. So it just makes it a little bit more work to do a podcast during that time. But I still am pretty sure that I want to do that. I think we talked about maybe doing a longer one episode, so doing like a 2-hour episode instead of doing 2 1-hour episodes, which I think will be nicer too, so I can expand a bit more on topics. And just talk a little bit more, because I did feel a little bit rushed sometimes. I also thought about having guests. I had Jacob on a couple times, and he was, we really have a great time talking with each other. We're cousins, we know each other since we were kids, and it's just really amazing to hear us both talk about spirituality together, and both have kind of the same take but a different take. There is a slightly different take. And so just, I would thought about too, having maybe, because he has his own podcast. What is it? I was told myself, do not forget the name of his podcast. Oh man, sorry.
All right, I'll give you a minute
Jacob
to look it up.
Yeah. I can't remember. I will try to remember during the break. But yeah, so he has his own podcast. And so I was like, maybe we could do a podcast together.
That would be cool.
A panel podcast. That'd be really fun. But I definitely do want to do it, because I do feel like, the first season was really talking about how to recognize the love and lightning in the world, to be able to see the love that we're not being able to see, to be able to recognize that light is beautiful, and light can also melt something all the way to dust, right? And a lightning strike can shatter, a tree. And so understanding how powerful both love and lightning was really what the first season was about. And just kind of the framework of what we want to do is moving forward. And I think the next season will be more talking about examples, trying to get people on the show who have been doing that. So right now I'm talking to GeoWin, which is, they just won in Korea and in Las Vegas. They just won awards for this new wind turbine. And it's shaped like a hexagon. And so it spins
Wow.
around like that. It's silent and it doesn't have the vibration, and then it's colorful, so birds don't get to it. And so I talked to them, and they're about coming and doing a pilot program here in Washington State here at my house. Just like, hey, you want to put one at my house and see how it works? And so they wrote me back, and they're like, oh yeah, we just actually had just been in Des Moines. He'd been here last year, and he's like, I thought about how windy it was there and how perfect it is for wind turbines. So you just having people like that on the show to really show people that every solution is here. They are taking carbon right now, and they're in Britain, and they're shoving it back into the earth, into the crags of the earth. We have every solution.
I heard that.
Mm-hmm. They've got plastic eating fish that swim around and eat the plastic and then bring it back. They have these new membranes that are catching the microplastics, and now they have a way to dispose of them, which does not cause toxic runoff. So all the solutions are being found, and that's where I think people just need to hear. They're not just, and I tell people, part of this is your fault. You have to take portion of responsibility. The algorithm is listening to you. So yeah, if you are watching it and you swim past nature videos and you watch a fight at a 7-Eleven, and then you swim past and you watch the war, and then you go past and you watch something else that's awful on your phone, that's all your phone's going to show you. It's all it's going to show you. It's like, let's just keep showing them fights. Let's just keep showing them bad stuff. That's right. You have to take the time to make that choice and to make your devices realize that you don't want to see mainly bad things, that you want to see mainly good things. And you need to be aware of the stuff that's going on in the world, but that's not your main focus. That your main focus is the love and light. So when you see those things, you can go, okay, what outcome am I hoping from this? So just like we were talking about with Iran, what outcome are we hoping for this? If those people are free, they have been, since 1976, or they've been, under a Shah that they did not want, and that those people deserve to be free. And so, yeah, that's my hope is, just like I was talking about with Bobby Hill. I'm just hoping that he sprinkled the salt spilled, and they go, oh, actually, we have pizza. And and the whole country, gets pizza. And that's my hope, is that this is what it's leading to. That's what the spiritual people are talking about, that as much as things are chaos, and we're going to be chaos for these couple of years as we went through this system, that this system was literally leading to a lighter point. And we just had to remember that as we go through this, that we are going to a higher point. But this is what always happens with evil. It's a last gasp. It happens with America every time we have a civil rights victory, we fight it back. So, we had all those things. That's what with reparations and stuff, but get fought back. So now we had all these trans rights and these gay rights that all went, and now they're going to fight them all the way back. And I told people that when we won, when I decided to tell people that I was gay, I said out loud and to people, you guys know, in about 10 to 15 years, we're going to have to fight this like crazy. They were like, no, Nikki, we won. Yeah. I was like, that's not what history shows. I'm telling you right now, as I say, I'm a gay woman, I know that this forever will be from the rest of my life, that this will be a marker. And then in 10, 15 years, when they go back and say, we're tired of these gay people, that they will be like, hey, she said she was one of them. So I understood where we were because I had seen history. And I think some people don't understand that is the flow of that. 2 steps forward, 1 step back is a real thing, because that is the backlash of humanity, of us going forward.
But here's giant sign. You ready for the giant sign? And every time I talk to the youth, this is the giant sign, because they do not believe me. They think I'm just BS and made it up. Here's the symbol. When equal rights for women are instilled into law, then you made some progress. But do you know that women don't even know they don't have them? Remember that old equal rights amendment? Remember that thing?
It always keeps getting brought back and then taken off. It never gets voted.
But you know what's so unusual? Let's talk about the awakening you're talking about. Can we just get awake enough to understand who you are in this country, what rights you have and what you don't? Because as a woman, you're in the handmaid's tale. And just because you're being treated good, or just because you think you got it, you don't have equal rights here. And every time I say that on air, I'm going to get a million emails now. You ain't got it so bad. But
ain't got it so bad. That's not the standard.
That's not the standard.
That's not the. Oh, you
But
ain't
ask
got it
yourself,
that bad.
why? Why don't we? See, if we are that altruistic and we want freedom in Iran, why don't women have equal rights? Somebody help me with that question. But let's talk about this moving forward, because not only are you going to bring this out, you may have a book in the works. Are you allowed to
I do,
talk about
yeah.
that at all?
I do, yes, yes. So, the first, that was something too with the first season was I really got to, I mean, my thoughts, I got a transcript of exactly what my thoughts are. Sometimes I would be shocked. I'd be like, I said this? Wow, that was kind of insightful. Thanks, universe. That was pretty okay. I like that. So that was kind of fun. So I've been working on that. Just kind of going through that, organizing it, getting it all set up. Just trying to figure out how I want to do the book. I actually had a little breakthrough recently where I was like, oh, I think I want to do my book like that. That's a fun way to do a book. So I kind of might redo the whole thing instead of doing it just like as a chapter book where I'm talking about love and lightning. I may actually do it as more of a adventure book type style. So I think that might be more fun and more fun for me to write than just like writing out, oh, here's what I did. So that I think that's really, really fun. And that was what I mean, that's kind of the wonders of AI, my whole thing with AI.
I love AI.
I yeah, we gotta take control of these tech bros. We gotta say no. Absolutely, you guys, like I just said, I think I said during the break, maybe did I say during the thing, was that we have tons of room for your AI data centers right here in the cities. You don't need to go out to Darlin or out to Mount Hood or anywhere else. I understand it'll cost you more money, but yeah, no, you have left empty office buildings in every city across the world. You're going to need to fill those first. You have empty rental-based spaces. You're going to need to fill those first. And then we're going to put solar on top of those, okay? So, like, we're not going out in nature to build any more of this crap. And so
I
everybody needs to
agree.
just stand together and be like, oh, no. Well, what are we going to do? No, we're not fighting progress. We're telling you to put it back where progress already was, where you've already concreted, you've already destroyed nature. You're going to keep it there. So I think
You
that's the
know,
biggest
I'm
thing.
I'm right on track with you. I never really thought of the AI part. That is a Nicole Pelham idea, but I called it the rebirth of progress. I
Mm-hmm.
said, why aren't we doing reborn stuff? You know, why aren't we taking old and tried and true? And you know, some of those buildings downtown Seattle, those
Oh,
brick
yeah.
buildings, those things were made like who knows what. But we
To last
see
forever.
empty. Nicole, I moved back here to New Jersey, and I can't tell you how many empty buildings that I drive by every day. And I
Yeah, and
ask
those need to be
myself,
filled with AI data centers.
oh,
They need to have solar all over them. Like I'm like, no, there's absolutely no what wait, why are you guys building? Oh, because it's cheap out there.
oh my God.
Less
Well,
regulations out
here's
there.
the excuse I got here where we are, because this is a sunshine place here. This part, we're in Central Jersey, so it's still the country, and it's not going to look good. I'm like, what? Well, we have these. You look, this townhouse development is so la la la. I said, okay, put up solar. Oh, but you know, it's not going to look good. And I'm like, oh my gosh, are we still having that chit chat?
You're like, wait a second, where am I? What happened? Because Pacific Northwest, we've
Ain't
way
gonna
past the
look
not gonna look good stage. We've got these
good.
beautiful houses and they've got these beautiful solar panels, sleek
They
black
are.
solar panels all across their, and
They're
I'm like, wow.
beautiful.
And then they talk about how long the roof lasts now because it's not getting rained
Yeah.
on. I'm like, no, I don't.
And I'm like, hold on, that roof, you think that there is beauty? Come on now, people. Okay, but we'll take that conversation on another way,
That's just
another
crazy.
day.
That is just I mean, but that is one of those things where I do they talk about the liberal bubble, right? And where you are, and that is something that I do remind myself all the time that I'm in Washington State. You know, there is a different mentality here where we're way away from there's a lot less people out here. It's very naturey out here.
Yeah.
And that mentality is all here. So we do have a different mentality than a lot of
And I brought it with me.
yeah, and they're looking at you like, "Are you crazy?" And you're like, "This, are
Exactly.
you crazy? This is 1980s mentality. We are way past if solar panels look nice. We're not in the if something looks nice. The planet is dying. Put the solar panels on."
You know, we have to slow down enough. And, you know, this is really the eye opening for me. And you've talked about it a lot today. I want to pause for a minute and make sure people know how to find out more about you, kind of follow what you're doing. And then I want to know your personal message, what you want to leave us with. Thank you, Nicole, for joining me here today. I can't wait till I can't wait till you wind up again.
I'm super excited about it. I am. There's just so much stuff, and there's so much stuff going on in the world that I
Yeah,
want to talk about. We talked a little bit about it with the Green Wall. So Hawaii and California are having
yeah,
really big drought issues. Over in Africa, they're fighting back the Sahara Desert with these green initiatives where they're making what are called half moon shapes and
that's
different
right.
ways that they were ancient ways that we have water. And so they're doing that, and they're working with the farmers and with the herders to make sure that they have the lands and they keep the animals away. And they just in 2 years they have enough wood and enough food to take care of a village. And so it's like all of the solutions are there, and that's by hand. That's no machinery. That's no AI. That's just humans going, "Hey, we got to fix this." And so that's what I keep wanting. That's kind of the message I think, especially for the next season, is really bringing out all the ways that humans are actually fixing the earth. How one couple can fix 100 hectares of land. How Costa Rica was in the 70s completely gone. There was no trees there, and I just went there 3 years ago. I would have never guessed that.
I know.
Howler monkeys in the trees. They've got wildlife bridges across the road so the monkeys and the snakes and stuff don't have to come down. There was just so much life
Right.
there, and I was like,
Mm,
they did this in 30 years?
that's right.
Okay, yeah, no. And they're showing that in Africa. In 2 years, they can make a forest. And
Yeah.
here, even in my property, I'm able to see that. You clear out a spot, you put in the natives, you take care of that for 1 or 2 years, and you really see the growth. And so that's what I think Love and Lightning's next season really is going to be about, is about showing all the ways forward for
Mm.
humanity. Because we have all the solutions now. Anybody's like, oh, what are we going to do about the microplastics? There are at least 10 different solutions right now for microplastics. Like, what are we going to do about the salmon? We have all the solutions. We know how to fix the salmon, right? We know how to fix the earth. We know how to fix it. We just have to stop worrying about the money and stop being apathetic, which is what they want us to do. Stop, the files talked about. Oh, we want them sitting there drinking and watching TV. And they specifically said they didn't want you guys taking any of the devil's lettuce. And they didn't want you out helping the world. So if I was any human, I would do exactly the opposite of whatever the files were
Listen,
saying. I'd be like,
it'd be-
oh.
Nikki, it would be a cold day in hell if you saw the devil eating lettuce. That is certainly not hot wings.
Right?
Hot wings, yes. Lettuce, cold day in hell for that. Nicole Pelham, everybody, go to Love and Lightning, look it up. You'll find it everywhere. I can't wait till you come back. Much love to you. Thank you so much,
Thank you
Nikki, for
so
doing what you do in the
much.
world. Yeah, I'm not seeing the devil eating lettuce. I have to call
No,
Joyce
right?
Meyer. I gotta call Joyce Meyer and ask her. So y'all have a good one. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.